Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I am here with a whip and chat with you guys. So I am gonna go ahead and get started. Today I am working on Rose Library by Ivy Dolomore as part of the Ivy Along that is currently going on, that's hosted by Michaela Renee on YouTube. And I'm having a lot of fun so far. I am on the bottom row going across the bottom, and I have the left column done, and I'm about halfway through this bottom row. So that's where we're at. Happy Mother's Day to anyone who celebrates today. I know that some countries celebrate it earlier, and also that some people don't celebrate, so I hope you're having a good day either way. But if you are a mom, then I wish you happy Mother's Day. I am using a pen by Butterfly Effectwares, and it's their Amethyst colorway, and I love it so much. And then I'm using a tray by Muni Made, and the putty I'm currently using is by Enabler's Outpost, and it's in the scent, I think, like Night Air, and it's really nice. I like it a lot. How are you guys doing? How has your week been? I had a pretty busy week, but that's not new. Today I am riding the struggle bus a little bit for a couple different reasons. All of a sudden this evening, my ear has really started to hurt. Like, I don't know if you've ever had like an ear infection, but that's what this feels like. It's throbbing, it's pounding, it's very sharp pain every once in a while that takes me by surprise. I took 2 ibuprofen a while ago, and it seemed to kind of dull the pain a little bit for a while, but now it's kind of coming back, and it hasn't been 6 hours, so I'm not sure if I can get away with taking some more ibuprofen. I didn't take the max amount though, so if it gets really bad, I might take another couple. Otherwise, I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight, to be honest. And of course, this happens on a Saturday. It's Saturday evening for me right now. So it's going to be hard to get it looked at until at least Monday. And so, yeah, hopefully it just gets better, which happens sometimes. I have a history of these, but I also have a history of I have a small ear canal. So a lot of the time I'll get like wax buildup in there, and it hurts like it's an ear infection, but it's actually not. It's just kind of impacted. And so I don't know if that's what's going on, or if I do have an ear infection. I don't really have any other symptoms right now other than just the pain, so I don't know. But like I said, today is Saturday, and earlier today, my daughter Sam was here with her boyfriend Adrian. They actually got here yesterday and spent the night to hang out with me for Mother's Day. So that was awesome. And then they left today at around 6 o'clock to go hang out with Adrian's mom for Mother's Day, because his parents also live in my town, because the two of them met when they both lived here, and then they both moved about an hour away to go to college, and now they live together. So when they come to visit me, they often also get to visit his parents. So that's kind of nice. They can combine trips. So they got here last night, and we had some dinner, and then we played Phase 10, and Sam won, but it was a close thing. Adrian and I were hot on her tail. And sorry if I bumped the camera. This pen is a bit longer, like a bit bigger than most of my diamond painting pens. And so it's actually touching the camera when, like my phone, when I'm diamond painting. So sorry about that. I might move my camera arm if it becomes too much of an issue. Anyway, so we played that game, and it actually took us most of the evening because they didn't get here yesterday till about 6:30. They had to come after work and school and everything. And then it took us several hours. We went to Outback for dinner, and it was really nice. We sat outside, and the service was extra slow, and I'm wondering if it's because we were outside and they just aren't, they don't see us as much because we're not in the line of sight, and maybe they just are slower service when you're sitting outside. I don't know. But we had a good time chatting and everything. It was Sam, Adrian, and Casey and I. And so we had a good time chatting about what's been going on with school and work for them and everything else. And it was kind of funny because we had remarked about how it was taking quite a while to get our food. And we have kind of a running joke in our family that as soon as someone gets up to like use the bathroom, that's when servers usually bring our food, because it's happened multiple times. And so it had been a while, and I was like, I'll tell you what, guys, I'll take one for the team. I'll go inside and use the bathroom, and I'm sure they'll bring the food as soon as I get up to go to use the bathroom. So I did that, and when I walked back outside to where our table was, yep, sure enough, there was our food. And I asked how long it took them to bring it after I walked away, and they said it was within a minute. So that's holding strong our tradition of getting our food as someone gets up to go to the bathroom. But yeah, that took probably like a 3-hour trip to go to Outback and then to get our meal and eat and come back home. It was probably about 3 hours. So by the time we got home, we had enough time for that one Phase 10 game before we kind of said goodnight and they went to bed, and I was up a little bit later because my typical routine has me up later than that usually. And then I went to bed, and we got up today and we invited my dad over so that he could visit with them and me. And we played a game called Mind Your Marbles, and it's like a trivia game. So it was him and Sam and I played that game, and I managed to win that one. So that was fun. It would have been fun either way. I'm not a sore loser. But yeah, that was a good time. We hadn't played that one in a while. And then Sam and Adrian had agreed to watch Firefly with me because we were playing Phase 10 last night, and they saw my Firefly game that I got recently, a board game, and Adrian had never even heard of the show. That made me feel old, guys. But to be fair, I was pregnant with Sam when that show aired for the first time, so I am old. But so they showed some interest in watching the show, and so that's what we did today, is that we watched the pilot episode, which is funny because I just watched that recently with Fletcher too, because he had agreed to watch that with me. So I'm trying to get everybody into it. Fletcher's not super into like sci-fi genre, which is funny because he's currently brainstorming and outlining a fantasy sci-fi book that he's going to write, a series actually. But as far as what media he consumes, he doesn't consume a lot of sci-fi. But he seemed to somewhat enjoy Firefly, at least. And Sam and Adrian liked it enough that Adrian asked Sam if they could continue watching it when they got home. So here's hoping they actually do that. I offered to lend them the DVDs, and then I totally forgot to give them the DVDs before they left today. So I might have to meet up with them tomorrow before they drive home and give them that so that they can actually continue watching the show. I told them I expect them to have watched enough of it that by the time they come back again, they will be able to understand what's going on in the board game I have. You probably don't need to watch much of it to understand the board game, but that'll be fun. Actually, it's funny because when they got here yesterday, Friday evening, it had only been a few hours since Fletcher got on the bus to go back home from visiting me for the 2 days before that. So he showed up on Wednesday, and I almost dropped all my drills. Whoops. He showed up Wednesday on the bus and spent a couple nights with me because he had a couple days off work at once instead of having it broken up over, like off one day, work the next day, and then off another day. This time he actually just had 2 days off in a row. So since it was right before Mother's Day and he works during the weekend, he came up to visit during the week, which I love when he's able to do that, but I also kind of feel bad because when he's here, he kind of has to keep himself entertained during the hours when I'm working. But he was okay with that. He worked on his book a lot, actually, because he's really, sorry if you can hear my cat, sorry. But he's really into the groove with his brainstorming for the next book he's writing. He did just recently finish the first draft for his first novel, which I'm super proud of him for doing. I have been writing my whole life and have never finished the draft of any novel. So I think it's a huge accomplishment that he was able to do that. And I'm helping him edit that novel. And I really enjoy it. It's a good book. It's kind of more of a urban fantasy romance, that one. And I really like it. And I'm just so incredibly proud of him. So anyway, he worked a lot on his new book series, and he did a little bit of diamond painting. And then when I got off work, we did some diamond painting together, and we watched a few episodes of The Good Place, his favorite show. And we also watched a couple or 3 episodes of Dead Boy Detectives, which is a new show on Netflix that I had this past week watched an episode of and thought Fletcher would like. So I saved the rest to watch with him to see if he would like it. And I think he does. We got through about 3 episodes and he seemed pretty interested. So I'll probably watch the rest on my own since he doesn't come up often enough to really wait for him. But it was nice to watch the first few with him at least. I dumped out a bunch of drills for only placing 2. Don't you love it when you aren't paying attention? I am definitely struggling with the ear thing. Oh, I totally forgot that I mentioned at the beginning I'm riding the struggle bus for a couple of reasons, and then I only told you one of the reasons. The other reason is because we're having a slight heat wave, at least for Oregon standards today, and unfortunately our AC is still not working. So it's been very hot in our house today, and that makes it a little harder to concentrate, although it is cooling down a bit now. I actually had to wait. It's about 1 a.m. right now, and I had to wait until now to film this because I had to have my office window open for airflow earlier today. And now it's finally cooled down enough that I could close it. But we live next to a pretty busy street, so I couldn't have the window open while I was filming this WIP and chat. It just would have been too noisy. So hopefully I can get this all edited and up by the normal time tomorrow. Some of that depends on my ear and how I'm feeling, and some of it depends on how long it takes me to edit, because it's already almost 1 a.m. and I do have to go to bed at some point tonight. But yeah, I'm going to jump around. It seems like I'm going to jump around a little bit on this WIP and chat because one thing is just leading to another one in my brain. But earlier today, we had, after we finished watching Firefly, Sam and Adrian were going to bake me a cake, but unfortunately, we realized they couldn't do that because of the broken AC and the heat wave we're having right now. Using the oven just didn't seem like a good idea. So instead, we went to the store and we got stuff for a barbecue. And my husband smoked some burgers and hot dogs. And I made potato salad. I was a little nervous about using the stove to cook the potatoes, but it's still better than using the oven, so it worked out. And so I made potato salad, and then we got the stuff for strawberry shortcake. And so there's a few different kinds of strawberry shortcake that people have. There's like the little round pre-cooked sponge cakes that some people get to make strawberry shortcakes out of. Some people use like angel food cake, and other people use like scones or biscuits. And I'm typically more of a fan of the scones route, but those you have to bake. So we wound up getting the angel food cake instead because that was already made and we didn't have to do any heating of the oven for it. So I had a very small piece with some strawberries and sugar-free whipped cream, and it was so good. And so was the barbecue. I had half a burger because I can't really even eat a whole one anymore. But I had half a burger and some potato salad, and we had some chips and dip. And then later on, I was able to eat some of that strawberry shortcake, and it was a good time. One of my absolute favorite meals is a good barbecue, so that was delicious. And it's actually one of the few things that Casey will eat without putting up a fight. So, and when we are able to find something like that, he'll eat quite a bit of it, and today was no exception. He ate, get this, 4 hot dogs and a half of a burger in one sitting. And some chips. So it isn't the best, healthiest food, but he actually had to go to the doctor this week because he has got a history of fainting at school, and a lot of it, the doctors think, is because he doesn't eat enough, and he'll skip meals, especially breakfast, but he often skips dinner too because he doesn't like what I made or whatnot. And so the doctor specifically said to him at his appointment this week that you can't eat too much at your age and with what's going on with you. So if you find something you like, eat as much as you like. And my husband and I aren't sure how to feel about that because we just weren't raised with that kind of mentality. And we're not sure how healthy it is for him to eat 4 hot dogs and half of a burger. But he was recently diagnosed with something called ARFID, which is like avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. And so getting him to eat anything is a win. I also managed to get him to eat a few bites of broccoli when we were at Outback, and he ate a whole piece of chicken and some fruit. So that was also a win. But yeah, once you find something he likes to eat, he will eat a lot of it. It's just that there aren't that many things he likes to eat, so. But apparently hot dogs are one of them. Yeah, so for a couple of weeks, he's been complaining of stomach aches and feeling lightheaded, and if he stands up, he feels like he might faint, and things go black, and he gets dizzy and weak. And so Monday he came home saying that it was feeling extra bad that day. So I managed to make him an urgent care kind of appointment for the next day on Tuesday. And I took him in, and they took his blood for some blood work, which was a whole ordeal. I've never seen him react this way before, but he did almost hyperventilate when they were putting the needle in to take his blood. He says he always feels that way when he gets a shot or gets blood drawn, but I have never seen him react that violently to where, like, we were having to tell him to breathe because he was definitely about to pass out from hyperventilating. He was having to breathe with, like, the nurse doing the blood draw was having him breathe with her in and out slowly and stuff. So that was an ordeal. But what we found out was that the only thing that came up as being out of the ordinary on his blood work was his vitamin D is low. So I'm going to have to get him some vitamin D supplements. And it's funny because I've never had low vitamin D, and I am definitely spending more of my time indoors than he is. He's outdoors a lot for like school and walking to and from the bus, and he'll go for walks on his own just in the evenings when he's home or on weekends. So I'm not sure why his vitamin D is so low, but it could just be because I don't even know if vitamin D is something you often get through your diet or if it's only absorbed when you're out in the sun. So I don't know if it has to do with diet in that case. But yeah, they also referred him to a gastroenterologist because stomach issues could also be causing him to faint and everything. So I guess we'll see what comes of that when they finally get the referral done. But he's been spending a whole lot of time just up in his room lately. It's like he all of a sudden has lost any desire to socialize with his family or even go on the computer and play with his friends like he used to. So I don't know if it's just a phase he's currently going through or if something more is at work. So I guess we'll see what happens. He's resistant to seeing a therapist for any reason. And I'm not sure if forcing him to see one would help or hurt since he's so resistant. But when he does come down to spend time with us, he seems to have a good time for the most part. Although this week he had some of his sculpture work from school was chosen to be displayed in the school's art gallery event. So we were going to go attend that, and we had invited his grandpa, my dad, to go. And my dad came over a little bit before we were going to leave, and they were doing their usual messing around with each other and horseplay like they always do. Is this supposed to be here? No. Okay. And my dad was like poking Casey, which Casey doesn't like to be touched when he isn't expecting it. And my dad doesn't care that Casey doesn't like to be touched, which is annoying. But Casey I'm trying to remember what exactly even happened, but he kind of stomped upstairs and slammed the door and didn't come back down. And it was getting close to time to leave to go see his artwork at the gallery. And my dad just decided to leave and go home because he's convinced now that Casey doesn't have any interest in spending time with him and doesn't want him around and all that stuff. And then Casey came down when it was time to leave and he was like, "Where's Grandpa?" And so I told him, well, he just left because he thinks you don't want to have him go to your event. And so Casey tried to call him because he had just driven away, and he answered and chatted with him, but still decided to continue on his way home. So it was a stressful evening because I hate conflict, and I hate being in the middle of conflict, even when I'm not involved, because I can see both sides of it. You know, Casey overreacted, but my dad also has trouble listening to Casey's boundaries or things that he doesn't like. And Casey also has a right to get upset when he's, badgered in a way that he doesn't like. It just sucks that my dad had his feelings hurt and that he felt like he couldn't stay or didn't want to stay, because he's always there to support what my kiddos are doing. Ever since they were little, he's come to, all the choir concerts and orchestra concerts and all the different things they have done over the years. And so for him to miss this one was really sad for everybody involved. But Fletcher was here that evening because it was Thursday night during his visit. So Fletcher and I went with Casey to the art gallery exhibit, and that was really fun. We got to see a bunch of different kinds of artwork that had been done by the high school kids at Casey's school. There was lots of sculpture and charcoal drawings and different kinds of paintings and a lot of textured work. And it was really, as as an artist, it was fun to see what all these kids were able to make. And a lot of it was really good. So I really enjoyed that. And it was fun to see Casey's sculpture be featured as part of the show too. Another exciting thing that we did today while Sam was here was that we bought the last piece of our trip that we're going to be going on in December to Dragonsteel Con, which is a convention for Brandon Sanderson's novel that's coming out in December. I've talked about it before on my channel, but if you're new, Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author, and all three of my kids have also read his books and loved them. And so we all wanted to go to the Dragonsteel convention that's happening in December and go together, which is, it's the only time I've ever gone on some kind of vacation or trip with just me and the three of them. So I think it's going to be really fun. And today we got online and bought our airline tickets, which was the last piece we needed. And then we also decided to buy some merch bundles for when we're there, because that's how, like, if you sign up to the convention, you can order the book that's coming out and it'll be numbered and signed. And that bundle also comes with like a pin and a bookmark and a plushie. And so we ordered some of those, and Casey and I are splitting that bundle. He's going to get the book and the bookmark, and I'm going to get the plushie and the pin, because I don't read physical books, and I will be reading it on Audible. And Casey doesn't do Audible, so he'll be reading the physical book. And then Sam and Fletcher each got their own book bundle because they also don't do Audible. So that was exciting. So that's all planned out. But let me tell you, the actual ticket purchase for the convention tickets happened this week. They went on sale May 7th. And that was one of the worst, no, it was the worst ticket buying experience I have ever had. It was going on sale at 9 a.m. my time. And I had already made an account on the website that was going to be selling the badges. So I was ready to go. And I thought I would just set my alarm for a few minutes before 9, wake up, log in, buy the tickets, and go back to bed, because that's early for me. I'm a night owl. And I woke up on time, was logged in right before 9, and then the first thing that happened was that the tickets didn't show up for sale right at 9 like they were supposed to. I kept refreshing, and it wasn't showing up, and I was like, shoot, wait, am I on the wrong site? Because I've never tried to buy tickets to this event before, and this was the site I thought it was supposed to be at and that I thought they were linking to, but it wasn't showing up. So I was freaking out trying to bring up like another tab to see if maybe it was supposed to be on a different site, but no, I was on the correct site. I clicked the link directly from the author and everything. And then when it finally did show up so that you could click the thing that says buy badges, I clicked on that, and then it would say, you can't do this unless you're logged in. Even though I had been logged in, it logged me out. And so every time I would click on buy badges, it would log me out and say I couldn't do that unless I was logged in. And then I'd have to log in all over again and go back to the link and start over. And I didn't know if it was only me, because right there on the front page, it has a countdown of showing you how many badges were left. So there are VIP badges and then regular badges. and I could see both counts just completely dropping, and the VIP badges sold out in less than 10 minutes, even though I couldn't even log in to add anything to my cart. So I wasn't sure what was going on. Like, was I doing something wrong? I felt grateful that I wasn't trying to get VIP badges, because those were a little too spendy for the four of us. Like, it was like $350 per badge, so that would have been a lot for us. But those sold out so fast. And then the other badges, the numbers just kept dropping and dropping while I was sitting there just trying to get logged in so I could add some to my cart. And I got up out of bed and I ran to my computer in case it was my phone that was having trouble. And I tried logging in on the computer, and that still was doing the same exact thing. And so now I had both my computer and my phone open, and I'm just trying to log in on whichever one will take me. And I finally managed to log in enough to get one of them added to my cart, and then I added the next one, and then I added the next one, because it wouldn't let you just up the count to 4 or however many you wanted and add them all to your cart at once. You had to add them one by one. So I got to the point where I had 3 in my cart, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to let me. No. As soon as I had 3 in my cart, it logged me out again and said I needed to be logged in to do that. And it took me many, many more tries logging in before I could finally get the 4th one added. And then I tried to check out, and that was a no-go. I finally was able to get on my phone, type in my credit card information, and log in a few more times until it finally let me charge it. And then I wasn't sure if it went through because I didn't get an email right away. And of course, it logged me out right away. So I wasn't sure if it really did charge me. And it didn't show up in my bank right away. So I finally got logged in again long enough to go to the page where it showed that, yes, I actually did show that I had purchased the badges, and I got a confirmation number, and I got our badge numbers and everything. Oh my gosh. So I finally managed to do it. It had taken about almost an hour, maybe about 45 minutes to get to that point. And there were some tears along the way. I was so frustrated. I was just frazzled trying to figure out what was going wrong. And then later on, after I finally managed to do that, I was too riled up to go back to sleep like I initially planned, even though I was really tired. I was just too stressed. So I got online and I noticed that people had commented all over the place about having similar issues. So it wasn't just me, and a lot of people missed out and weren't able to get badges at all because they could never get logged in long enough to add them to their cart. And some people were able to add them to their cart, but then they got logged out and got cart snatched while they were logged out. A lot of people wanted to get the VIP badges and weren't able to because they couldn't log in. I even saw one person say that they couldn't get any badges and they'd already purchased flights and taken the week off work and everything, and now they weren't going to be able to go. So I felt extremely lucky at that point that we were even able to get tickets. That was a wild ride. But yeah, so it looks like we will get to go. We have our hotel booked, we have our flights booked, and we managed to get our badges. So I'm very excited. It's not till December, but we have that to look forward to all year. So anyway, guys, I think that's all I had to update you on. I think we'll move into this week's yay or nay section. So last week's question was, Do you have any other hobbies besides diamond painting? And for me, the answer is yes. Some of you might know that I do art every once in a while. Mostly digital art, although I have dabbled with traditional art too. And when I say digital art, I mean like drawing with digital tools, but not AI artwork. Just using like Procreate and stuff. And I also love reading, which you also know if you've seen my videos before. I often talk a lot about the books I've been reading, which I am back into the groove of reading The Way of Kings right now, even though I wasn't able to continue my read along because things got a little too crazy in my personal and work life. But I'm back to trying to finish reading that so I can move on to the next book in my reread. And then I also used to be quite the gamer. I met my husband actually because we both played World of Warcraft. So we met on World of Warcraft many years ago. And I have been a big Sims player since the first Sims game that came out, all the way up through Sims 4. But I kind of go through phases with The Sims, and right now I'm not really playing it much. I also love cozy games like Stardew Valley, but my attention definitely doesn't stay on video games all the time. I will kind of want to play a certain one for a while, like maybe a few days or weeks, and then I'm back to not playing again for weeks or months in between. And right now I'm kind of just on a not in the mood kind of kick, and I've mostly been diamond painting or doing art if I'm not diamond painting in my spare time. So those are my hobbies. And as far as you guys go, there were 12 yays and 1 yay-ish and no nays this week. So the yays definitely have it as far as do you have other hobbies than diamond painting. So I guess us diamond painters like to dabble in lots of different things. Leslie Diamond Paints says, "Yay, I collect and read tarot and oracle cards for fun." That's really cool. My ex-mom-in-law read tarot, and I was always really fascinated by that. So I probably annoyed the heck out of her, asking her to do readings for me all the time. But that was a really fun time in my life. I'm not sure I believe in all that stuff, but I still think it's fun. And I also really love tarot card artwork. A lot of artists will do like tarot card series where they they draw some or all of the cards in a tarot deck in their own style with their own imagery. And some of those turn out to be so beautiful. I bet they'd make great diamond paintings, a lot of them. Actually, I think I've seen some as diamond paintings before, but I can't pin down exactly what I've seen or where. Nikki Morris said, "I have way more hobbies than I do time." That's relatable. She says, "I like to read, play video games, and I also like Legos. I'm also a pretty big fan of concerts. Also food. Is that a hobby?" I would say that food can definitely be a hobby, whether making it or eating it. Fellow foodies out there, unite. Elizabeth Peterson says, "I love to read, write, knit, crochet, sew," in parentheses, machine sew, cross stitch, needle binding, weaving, big and small, carding and spinning yarn, and of course diamond painting. Wow, that's a lot. She says some of them, thankfully, are seasonal hobbies. So I guess that would help with trying to like divide your time between all those hobbies. That would be difficult. But yeah, that's a lot of hobbies. I have trouble trying to divide my time just between the few hobbies I have, and I'm lucky that I can listen to audiobooks and diamond paint at the same time, because that helps a lot. Jackie's Crafty Time says, yay, I also love coloring. I can't draw, but I love adult coloring books. I have several Hannah Lynn books. I also enjoy playing video games on the Switch, and before diamond painting, I was into perler beads, which I might pull back out to introduce to my 5-year-old too. My kids had a stint for a while where they were really interested in perler bead designs, and so that was fun. I haven't actually tried coloring, but I think it would be really fun because I have a lot of like alcohol markers and watercolors and stuff that would be really fun to use for coloring. I need to try that sometime. I actually do have one of those Disney mystery paint by number coloring books, but I'm a little bit unsure how to use it because the lines are pretty dark, and the way they make a mystery is that they kind of have lines crisscrossing everywhere, so you don't really know what the shapes are until you fill in the colors. And my problem is if I use most mediums, like markers or colored pencils, etc., it won't cover up the lines or the numbers, so it'll just look really weird, I think. But if I don't use the normal coloring mediums like that, then I'd have to use like acrylic paint. And it seems like it would be difficult to mix enough of the colors you'd need or mix the right colors, and it would be messy. And I don't know if I could mix the correct colors again if I didn't do it all in one sitting. And it just seems like a lot. It's a little bit overwhelming. So I haven't sat down to try it yet, but I need to because that book is just sitting there gathering dust and it looks so fun. I just need to do it. Okay, so the question for this week's yay or nay is, do you prefer being hot over being cold? So yay if you'd rather be too hot, or nay if you'd rather be too cold. And let me know. And next week I'll tell you how I feel about that. But that said, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this WIP and chat. If you want to leave a like on your way out, that would be appreciated. And I will DAC you in the next video. Bye, everybody.